You're watching a reality check exclusive. There was a time last year when Maharashtra and Mumbai was at the epicenter of India's virus surge. But then Mumbai started to fight back and brought the virus under control. It almost became a role model of how a big city could contain the virus. But once again now, as India is in the grip of a second wave, Maharashtra is at the center of it, and Mumbai once again, the numbers are rising. I'm joined by the Commissioner of the Mumbai Municipal Corporation, Iqbal Singh Chahal is here with us. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Chahal, for taking some time out to talk to us. I know how completely busy and stressed out you must be right now. I guess the question on everyone's mind is, what exactly happened that we are once again seeing cases spike in Mumbai even after you try to bring it under control? Somewhere do you think you got complacent, you took your hand off the wheel?
First of all, good afternoon, Srinivasan. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to present our Mumbai case to you today. It all started initially with Vidarbha and Nagpur when a new mutation of the virus was detected in the first week of February, and then which is highly infectious mutant, and the ripples were felt all over Maharashtra state. And in Mumbai, from 10th of February onwards, we started getting the second surge or the second wave. And from 10th of February till now, in the last 49 days, Mumbai added 91,000 cases, which are COVID positive. But there's silver lining in that. Out of the 91,000, 74,000 cases have been asymptomatic positive, where the patient has no symptom, he needs no medication, he doesn't need to go to hospital, he just needs to be isolated and he gets well. And remaining 17,000 cases have been found to be symptomatic, but there also the symptoms are so mild that less than 50% of these patients approached for hospital beds and they got admitted. And as a matter of statistics, on 10th of February, we had 3,500 beds in hospital occupied, and today we have 9,900. And out of the 9,900 also, there are almost 2,000 from MMR area. People from Navi Mumbai, Thane, Mira Bhayandar, Vasai, outside the BMC, whom also we are accommodating. But there effectively, the net addition has been only about 5,000 beds.
Let's take it bit by bit, because there's a lot of information and people are very interested to hear what you have to say. But just starting off with the fact that you're now saying the virus has been surging, you've added almost 90,000 cases. You're blaming this entirely on this new variant? Would you say that there's no responsibility from the point of view of yourself and other officials for being able to control the virus?
Srinivasan, in any pandemic, there are three very important indicators. And number one is, if you see in the last, this 91,000 cases which came in the last 49 days, we only had 269 deaths, which means the death rate has been 0.2%. WHO says that if you keep the death rate below 1.0, the pandemic is under control. We are just at 0.2% despite 91,000 cases. The second indicator is the hospital infrastructure. Mumbai has the most robust health infrastructure now, where right now we have 39,000 beds online available, which are all DCH and DCHC only. And out of which still 3,000 beds were vacant till yesterday. And out of 3,000 beds, more than 600 beds were available in the private sector. And today we are adding another 4,000 more beds in dashboard. The dashboard will go to 17,000 with 9,900 beds occupied.
So you're adding more beds. You're adding more beds. But I still want to ask you though, because we all saw the visuals of huge crowds gathering in different parts of Mumbai. Dadar Flower Market is one example. There are several others. You wouldn't say that there was any laxity on your part in terms of being able to control the spread of the virus, the crowds, the transmission, all of that?
Srinivasan, we have been on the guard continuously 24/7. Let me give you one very important statistics. In Mumbai, in the last 3 months, much before the wave started, in the last 3 months, we have fined 24.1 lakh people in Mumbai for not wearing masks, and we have collected 48 crore rupees in Mumbai, 200 rupees per fine. I don't think there's any other city in the world where 2.4 million people have been fined for not wearing masks properly.
Okay.
And now if you see in Mumbai, people may not be wearing masks properly. They may have been the chin or they may have the nose out, but everybody's carrying a mask. This is one effort which we have done where we have virtually punished 2.4 million people and collected 48 crore rupees for not showing COVID appropriate behavior.
Right.
But now coming to other hard facts, our belief is that we have to be far ahead of the demand. The supply has to be much far ahead of the demand as far as our healthcare is concerned.
Okay.
And we have already planned that even if we get 10,000 cases in a day, out of which 85% have been coming to be asymptomatic for the last 49 days.
Yes.
And then, so we will, even if we need 1,500 hospital beds every day additional, although only 50% of the symptomatic are going to hospital seeking beds because symptoms are mild. But in a cycle of 14 days, because after 14 days, the beds start getting empty, and people start getting discharged, we would need about 21,000 beds in Mumbai. And today, we have 23 beds ready with us. So we are in a position in the healthcare system to handle this sudden load which has come because of new mutation which has happened in the virus.
Once again, you're saying that because at the moment, the last numbers on your dashboard was showing that about 80% of your ICU beds are occupied and normal beds about 76% are occupied. But you're saying you'll be adding enough beds if the numbers go up to 10,000 cases a day. Right now, you're clocking, I think, in the average of about 5,000 to 6,000 cases a day. But the worry is that it could go up to 10,000 cases a day. It could hit 10,000 cases a day. Is that the projection?
On 10th of February, we were testing 20,000 people per day. But we have our strategy in place. We would like to test. We decided to test 60 to 70,000 people per day. We already reached 50,000 figure now, and in another 3 to 4 days, this figure is going to touch 60,000 testing per day. Because we want to flush out those virus from the environment by doing as much testing as possible.
But I just want to ask you though, because a lot of your tests now increasingly are the rapid antigen tests, which as we know are not that reliable. When you're doing the RT-PCR test, which is more reliable, you're showing a positivity rate of almost close to 20%. With the antigen test, it's a much lower positivity rate. So you might be actually sitting on numbers which are much bigger. But I heard you say that you've actually run out of RT-PCR testing kits.
No. It is not the kits.
Or of the tests. The capacity. You've run out of RT-PCR capacity.
Srinivasan, every city has RT-PCR capacity. Mumbai's capacity is about 25,000 RT-PCR tests. And we are almost touching the ceiling every day. We are doing 24 to 25,000 RT-PCR every day. Now, what do you do beyond that? Beyond that, we decided that we will do, after exhausting our RT-PCR capacity, we'll start doing about 45,000 antigen tests also. So,
you can't add more RT-PCR capacity?
That it's an ongoing process. We are adding on a weekly basis. Very shortly, we will reach a figure of 30,000.
Okay.
But whatever our capacity is, to the best of that, we are doing. And then, rather than just waiting there, this antigen is just support to that, so that we can identify more positives and isolate them.
Okay, but even with testing, though you said that your daily numbers seem high, according to data that you put out yourself, sir, you are testing amongst the lowest of all major cities. You're testing, according to your own data, about 2.8 lakh per million population. Delhi is more than double that. Delhi and Bangalore both. They're testing about 7.4 7.1 to 7.4 lakhs per million.
I'll answer this question. You know, in Delhi, as we only compare Mumbai with Delhi, in Mumbai, we only believed in the gold standard till February, this first week of February. Right through the last May, June, till this February, we virtually did no antigens. We were doing RT-PCR only. But now, and Delhi has been doing 70,000, 80,000 tests in November, December also, out of which there in Delhi, RT-PCR would be around 15,000, 20,000, and remaining 50,000, 60,000 would be antigen. Their strategy of antigen started in October onwards, where in Mumbai, we started doing antigen only in the month of February. But today also, amongst the 27 lakh tests which we have done, our majority is RT-PCR only. And if you see RT-PCR percentage, we are still number one in the country.
Okay, so you're saying the reason why your testing numbers may be low is because you're still largely sticking to the gold standard RT-PCR testing, and you've kind of resisted the temptation to go down the rapid antigen route. Fair enough. But overall, though, I'm still trying to understand from you what you think is required to contain the virus. One thing is to increase hospital beds for people who may be falling sick. But as far as controlling it is concerned, where do you stand on the question of a lockdown?
This 85% people who are coming asymptomatic positive, like our Honorable CM sir tells us in every meeting, is a good thing also, and a negative thing also.
Rachel sir, I'm now asking you about containment. Do you think Mumbai is heading for a lockdown? Does you need a lockdown?
You know, Honorable CM sir has been telling time and again that the government doesn't need lockdown at all. The government has no intention of putting a lockdown because the economy has to run in full speed. Now, basically, it is the citizens of Mumbai and citizens at large who have to show COVID appropriate behavior. They must ensure that they don't come in public domain without wearing a mask properly with their nose put inside. The mask is not on the chin. They should not go to crowded areas. They must show COVID appropriate behavior. And I'm sure if this is followed, the threat of lockdown can be delayed and finally it can just dissipate.
But suppose you're not seeing crowds and people control themselves. The Chief Minister himself said if people don't control, we might have to go for another lockdown. If that's not happening, if crowd behavior, crowd control is not working out, then is a lockdown becoming more and more inevitable?
Let me answer this question in two parts. First of all, recently the government of Maharashtra took a very wise decision to put a 144 from 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. It's not a curfew. It's a wrongly used word. Except assembly of more than 5 people at a place, nothing else has stopped. The local trains, the public transport, the private cars, they can run 24 hours. After 8 p.m., to avoid crowding and to ensure that this virus doesn't get spread through human contact or by compromising social distancing. After 8 p.m., the crowding places like shopping malls, markets, nightclubs, restaurants which are flooded with people, other beaches where lakhs of people roam around. We don't want them that they should spread the virus. So we have just put this curve from 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. to 7 a.m. that if there's less crowding, we are confident that the infection will go down substantially. Already figures have come down from 7,000 to 5,000 in the last 2-3 days. Today testing has been very high. But figure is just to 5,200, which came in the morning, it was announced in the evening.
And
positivity has come down to 14%. So the effect is seen. Now I'm sure if with this curve in place and with responsible behavior, I am sure that we can avoid the lockdown.
Okay, well, you're still not directly answering the question, but I can understand it's a sensitive question. But on the vaccine, are you satisfied with the spread or the manner in which the vaccine footprint is going on? Or do you believe, like some people have been saying, including corporates like Anand Mahindra and others, that don't have any restrictions on the vaccine for Maharashtra, Mumbai. Let everybody vaccinate, perhaps even have door-to-door vaccination, which I think is something that you would sought permission for from the center.
Srinivasan, as far as vaccination is concerned, Mumbai is maybe one of the few cities in the country which has now done 1.1 million vaccination till yesterday evening. We have crossed 11 lakhs.
Yes.
And our BKC center has done more than 1 lakh vaccination, is the number one in the country in number of vaccinations. We are doing about 45,000 testing every day, and the government of India has been very kind and very supportive in the sense that they have given us special permission for 59 private hospitals which were neither empaneled on CGS, they were empaneled under Prime Minister's Jan Arogya Yojana. Still, they got permission for vaccination centers.
But
now
I'm
these
asking
59
a
hospitals, they are doing only 5,000 per day. I want that the 59 private hospitals, even if they do, the major ones do 1,000 per day, the smaller one does 500 per day, we can touch 1 lakh vaccination without going door to door also. And Mumbai has 4 million people, 45 plus.
Right.
And we already on 1 million. So if we do 1 lakh per day, in next 30 days, we can cover the entire 4 million.
Okay. So you're saying even without necessarily increasing the caps, you can vaccinate more people? You don't want all restrictions to be taken off? Because, from tomorrow it's going to be 45 plus. But some people are saying don't have any restrictions. Vaccinate everybody. For at least for Mumbai, Maharashtra.
We all of us as citizens of India, and we should understand that there has to be a proper match between demand and supply. We have 135 crore people in the country, so you have to have that equal number of supply of vaccines also. But in the current pace also, the pace is very good. We could reach 1 million in just a few weeks.
Right.
And and I must tell you, that out of the 269 deaths which happened in this 91,000 positives, we had 269 deaths.
Yes.
And out of this 269, 225 were 60 plus. Just imagine if we can vaccinate this 23 lakh 60 plus people, the death rate can be brought down to negligible levels.
Okay.
So the vaccinating this 4 million, the job will be done to greater extent.
Okay. But coming back to what you said at the outset, that that the variants are what is causing the surge. Now, I want to ask you, because that raises questions then about whether vaccination can really control it if it's variants. Where are you getting the evidence that the variants are causing the surge? Because the government, the central, the health ministry, they're not saying that. They're saying there's not enough evidence to indicate whether the surge is being caused by variants or for some other reason.
No, Srinivasan, we have our own Honorable CM Sir has created a task force way back in the last April, May. And this Mumbai task force has a dozen doctors who are the best in their own fields in the world. And they have been advising us, and they have been doing a lot of research on this mutations in virus, and they've been collecting a lot of information around the globe.
Okay.
So they have a clear opinion that this is a mutation of that virus, which is highly infectious but less lethal.
And which mutation are they talking about? UK or some other?
They have some technical names to that. I don't remember the name, but they are two main principal mutants which exist in Maharashtra, especially they emanated from Amravati and Nagpur, where they took the possibility to almost 50% plus, but now it has come down.
But are they able to tell you whether the current viruses, I beg your pardon, the current vaccines that we're using, are they able to tackle this mutant strain?
Yes, absolutely. The present vaccine is good enough for a UK strain also, but experts say that for South African state there's an issue where the new vaccine which is coming from Serum Institute, it will take care of that also.
Okay. We're starting to wind down in time. I just want to quickly ask you, is there any particular part of Mumbai which is where the virus is more active? And we'll put up that map. You've actually taken your own map where you've broken it up ward-wise to see which are the kind of hotspot areas. I think it looks like it's the same areas as last time. We are starting from Bandra, going all the way from Santa Cruz to Andheri, Jogeshwari and Ville Parla on the western side. And then you've got Chembur, Matunga, Sion and Vadala on the eastern side.
Srinivasan, these are the more densely areas, dense population areas of Mumbai, the suburbs, and they are either touching Thane or Navi Mumbai on one side, or the northern suburbs are touching Mira Bhayandar. So we do have more cases in that area because, first of all, the density of population higher there, and as compared to South Mumbai or the Central Mumbai, the COVID-appropriate behavior is much better in southern part of Mumbai. That may be one of the reasons why cases are less here. But I can assure you that as far as Mumbai is concerned, we are on it and there is no reason to panic.
You're on it, there's no reason to panic. Spell that out, especially the last few minutes. We're just doing public information, especially for viewers in Mumbai. So you're saying, number one, if you want to get a hospital bed, there shouldn't be a problem. But I think you said it's centralized now. You can't just directly go to a hospital, even if it's a private hospital. You have to go through a 24/7 BMC control room.
Srinivasan, let me educate everybody who must be viewing us that since last 8th of June 2020, Mumbai adopted a very unique model in the entire world in bed allotment. It is nothing new. We have already done 400,000 COVID positive patients in the last 1 year through this system.
Okay.
And lakhs of beds have been allotted through ward war rooms. It is nothing new being started now. In Mumbai, we had made COVID fight highly decentralized through 24 ward war rooms on the 8th of June last year.
Right.
And that goes on without a day's gap, where we have a dashboard of all private and public hospitals put together, and a single dashboard is there. We have told the labs way back in last June, which is continuing today also, that no positive report will go directly to the patient, and at midnight every night, all this 5,000, 6,000 positive should come to us.
Right.
And early morning, we whole night our doctors sit and they clean the list.
Okay.
Cleaning the list means there are many RT-PCR for discharge patients. We separate them. There are many.
So that's all happening. That's all happening at a centralized level.
And then this ward war room, they visit every home and allot beds at home to the patients.
Okay.
And we have done in more than 300,000 cases till now. So there is no reason why somebody should ring up the hospital or roam around for a bed.
Okay. So that's as far as beds is concerned. And as far as now steps that citizens should be aware of that you're taking to try to control this surging virus, are you going to be very strict with crowd gatherings? Are you going to be fining people for not wearing masks and all of that?
We have already told, we have put stamps on all home quarantined people. We have told them if you are seen in public domain, there will be FIR on you, you will be arrested. Number one. Number two, we have told the housing societies that if you have more than 4 cases, your buildings shall be sealed and there will be no entry and exit into the building, which we are already doing now. Number 3, we have told that in functions like weddings, if there are more than 50 people, there will be FIR on the organizers. So we are already started doing it, and we're going to be very tough, and we really mean it.
And the large crowds that are gathering, the markets, the bazaars?
So they're number one, from 8 p.m., beyond 8 p.m., these markets would be closed till almost 11 p.m.
Okay.
So we have already curbed that through this so-called night curfew thing.
Right.
Now all shut at 8 p.m. So this is taking care of this problem to a considerable extent. And as far as the daytimes are concerned, we have been, our marshals are in place, our squads are in place, and we are inspecting these places and trying to address this problem.
Very last question. If you were to look back and just say, if there's one mistake that you think you made, which may have led to the spike, in addition to the mutant, is there anything that you'd go back and say, I wish we'd managed to
I only wish
take that step?
I only wish that people would have been more careful, and they should have adopted COVID behavior from the day one.
No,
and
not
they
people.
shouldn't have thought that now
you, sir,
problem is over.
BMC, not people. Would you say BMC, any one slip up you wish you had anticipated?
I would say that as far as BMC is concerned, we have been doing our level best, and we have never lowered our guard.
Okay.
But this new mutant is so infectious that one mammal family gets it, the entire family gets it in few hours. This was not being done, but not heard earlier in the last 1 year.
Okay.
This is only with the new mutant which is happening.
Right.
So we are helpless there.
Okay, well, you say it's a new mutant, but let's see how it goes, sir. I wish you all the very best. You have a challenging task ahead of you, but thank you in the middle of that for taking time out and speaking to us. Thank you very much, Jael Saab.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks very much.